I want to welcome you to the Blockchain Innovation Conference and all the people outside, especially in Pakistan, India, the Middle East. We have one of our speakers has 1 million followers on Facebook, Bakar. He's coming this afternoon. And it's always very interesting. If you speak with him, then immediately 10,000 people all over the world enjoy the stream. So it's our goal to become the most streamed blockchain conference, much more than Consensus. My name is Vincent Everts. I'm the trendwatcher. This is the 5th time we've organized this conference. 5 times. And does anybody know how long ago it was before the paper, the Bitcoin paper was written? In November, 10 years. 10 years ago, somebody wrote this paper. We don't know if it's a woman. We probably think because she has a fantastic style of writing. But we don't know. There's 1 million Bitcoins waiting for him or her. So that's like 8 billion euros when he or she shows up. We have an amazingly big program. I just want to make sure that everybody now has their phone and goes to play.squiffer.com. Play.squiffer.com. It's up in the upper right. It's maybe a little bit hard to see in the back, but Squiffer is S-Q-I-F-F-E-R, because I want to ask you some questions, get to know you a little bit, see what you're involved in, so we can make sure that the speakers address your needs. We have a complete impossible program. I mean, we're like, it's now 1994, and we're talking about the internet. You know, it's like this, we can use it for everything. And it's impossible to make a choice. We have 50 speakers, and they're from the fintech world, from the energy, from the logistic world. They are from the government. We have people from India who are basically coming here to present how they're reforming their government with blockchain. It's amazing. I mean, they have 1 billion people got a digital identity, and they're using it 50 million times a day, and billions of digital transactions, and they're now using the blockchain to reform their country. Amazingly lessons which we can learn. Last year, everything was about proof of concepts. Now it's about production. We're getting products ready for production, and to get a speakers lineup, it's really impossible. So we have a very big story in the beginning. Dave Birch is talking. Hey, we're now quitting messing around with small stuff. We're going to now go for the big stuff. We're going to have a big plan, and we're going to talk about trillions of dollars. And we're ending with Vinay Gupta, and he's going to talk, how does the blockchain society, how does our society look in 10 years when blockchain is everywhere, totally hidden, just like the internet is there, but it's hidden, but it's in everything we do. So we have 2 big stories, one to start by an English guy, and we have one who's ending. He lives in Scotland, he's from India, but he's born in England, and he started Ethereum. One of the people who started Ethereum. So, and between there, we have an unbelievable avalanche. And I don't have any time to explain you much. We have fantastic tracks. Connie is doing the business track with real business cases which are going live. Extremely interesting. I mean, we have, for example, the land register. We talked about the land register last year, that you could use the blockchain to register land. Well, now it is a country which already has 60% of all the land on the blockchain, and is 90% less cost. So that's one thing she's going to talk about. Then we have the technical track, and we're getting an overview about the most important blockchains, and we have blockchain version level 1, level 2, or generation 1, 2, 3. Generation 3 will do thousands and thousands of transactions a second. Yesterday I was at Money 2020, I don't know if people know that conference. It was a small conference in Amsterdam, 4,500 people from all over the world. And Liz, the CIO of MasterCard, says they've built a blockchain which does 25,000 transactions a second, and they're completely ready to put it on the blockchain, but they just want to know what are the advantages of it. So that was really interesting. And so we have the technical track, which is basically led by Frans Kampen from IBM. He has fantastic technical cases, explanations, but also overviews. Marloes Pomp, who does the government track, she got people from the World Bank, from the blockchain lab. She got people from India, she got people from Malaysia. So she gives an overview how the Dutch government did 50 proof of concepts. Extremely interesting track. Arash is from the energy track. Now the whole energy world is completely decentralizing, going from maybe 1,000 companies who produce the electricity to millions of companies, so the whole industry's transaction is going to decentralize, and we also need a new administrative stuff with that. The blockchain is made for that, And we have an ICO track in a bank, because I mean ICOs and crypto is normally at a bank a really dirty word, but all these ICOs have been vetted very carefully by a jury, and they've been figured out, is it a good story, is it a reliable team, is it really the technology, is it also a useful cause? So we found 7 Dutch ICOs, and we're going to select the best Dutch ICO. And Richard Kastelein, who talked last year here for the first time about ICOs, and then we got an avalanche after that. So that's really great. And I want to thank all the volunteers who are here, the students who are coming in. We're going to help you with every step of the way. So that's wonderful. You can basically find us about our T-shirt. I hear that some of you want the T-shirt. We'll see if we have some T-shirts left with that. We have been working for a whole year now, and the team, I really think, did a fantastic. I mean, they've been working. Like Badar gave the presentation this morning, the Bitcoin for Dummies. He did not sleep at all. You know, he's been working day and night. Monique has been incredibly patient to find out all these speakers from all over the world. To find it is really hard. We're now broadcasting on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and I think even my son put us, he said, Papa, you know, he's 12 years old, and he's going to bother you, and he's sitting up there. He wants to make sure that he's the #1 networker of the day, because the winner gets a drone. And so he's going to bother you. He's 12 years old, and he says, you're not on Instagram. So he immediately took his phone and started to stream on Instagram, saying, you're so old-fashioned. What are you doing with Facebook and YouTube and Twitter? Bullshit. And also Douwe, who made the Squiffer app, and he completely changed it for us. So, and I also want to thank the ICO committee, and especially jury from the Rabobank, who basically made sure that they were really good ICOs. We've refused a lot of them, but we have a very nice group of ICOs. Okay, and I want to thank KPMG, who basically did a great job in coming up with correct practical examples which we can use here. I mean, they really went into production with their product. IBM was frustrating, because every case I looked at, half of them, there was always behind the scenes, there was IBM as a technology partner. They did a great job. Rabobank, I got compliments from people saying this was the smoothest organized conference, and that was really hard, because at a bank to organize a conference, and everybody has to have a pass, and everybody has to be approved, and normally we thought, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. They said it was wonderful, very well organized. Bitfury, they are a partner, and they came with that land registrations. We'll see them later, and HP together with Intel, who are also come with a fantastic medical case, which you will see later. And all the ICOs, I want to welcome you very much. I hope you have a nice battle who's going to become the best Dutch ICO. We're going to have fun of that, and the winner will present on stage in the afternoon. Okay, let's go to Squiffer, and let's get to know you a little bit and see where you are. So can we have the Squiffer screen on the big screen? Okay, can I have the first question, please? Let's see how we're doing. 27%. We had a fantastic panel at Money 2020. There was Mrs. Alipay, and she was extremely aggressive. She said, we have 600 million people, we grow 50% a year. Then Mrs. Google said, oh, we have 1 billion people, you know, we're growing also extremely rapidly. Then we had the Facebook woman who says, who's going to talk numbers? Let's not talk numbers, because he had 2 billion. And it was really interesting to see incredible, powerful women on stage at Money 2020. But we have 20% there. Okay, next question. Okay, let's see. We have the car, the explosion car. There's not the EV. I basically had explosion car and EV. I wanted to know. Okay, next question. The car is still, even though we're next to the station. Wonderful. Okay, next one. Do you expect that crypto will be important? I mean, we're just at a room full of people who say that crypto is not very important. But, oh yeah, but they definitely think it's really important. But we're also at Money 2020, the first time they had a track on they don't call it crypto, they don't call it blockchain, they call it DLT. But, and on the other hand, there was open banking, PSD2. All the banks are opening up their data. That was completely full, and half the room was about half full with DLT. And I think next year it will be reversed. Because I mean, there were people who predicted that from the 19,000 banks, there were only left, you know, like tens of banks. So that will be very interesting. Okay, next one. For what reason are you interested in blockchain? What do you think it will bring? Better cooperation, smooth processes, less fraud, less bureaucracy. Smooth processes, better processes for the, we're going to see some really nice examples how it really does 10 times less money and much smoother process. Okay, next one. What do you do? The managers always say immediately yes. It takes, or the rest takes a little bit longer to figure out where they are. That's really, okay, technical, management, and then sales marketing. Yep, thank you. Next one. How much do you know? 16%, we have 6% Satoshis, 6 intermediate starting. Okay, I hope that the Bitcoin for Dummies was interesting. Last year we had 200 people coming for the Bitcoin, the blockchain for Dummies, and now it was only 100 so much. So it was really interesting. People are getting more intermediate. Okay, and what do you do with the blockchain? Are you still learning and evangelizing and making people enthusiastic, or are you into production? So 24% ICO, production, experts, others. So there's people, 10% is busy by making production system for the blockchain, and still 40% is learning. That's a great day to learn. Next one. And what blockchain are you mostly interested in? Isn't it interesting to compare that with the money 2020 people? You can only do one. So Ethereum is clearly number one, 8% Ethereum Enterprise, the private version. R3 is there, Ripple is there, IOTA, EOS, and 14% others. So there's a broad interest, but very clear that Ethereum is the number one, okay? Then, what is this now? What question is this? Ah, okay, you had to make a selection out of what kind of, where do you think it will have the biggest influence? Fintech, government, logistic, commerce, food, mobility, in construction, number 9. So fintech and government are the biggest interest, and logistics. Next one. Yeah? Was it ready? Nice. Okay. Then, can I go back to my slides? I'm sorry I did something wrong. I didn't translate the slide. Can I go to my slides here? My slides, like this thing here. Okay. I have to give you the house rules. And the house rules are you can photograph here, but you cannot photograph people and personnel from the bank, so you have to be a little bit respectful from the privacy. And also, you can't walk around the building. You can stay here in the conference center. You can go to the outside world, but please don't go to all the other floors. You cannot do that. Okay. Then we basically have another app for you. And can I ask, can you come up? So we made it, the Rabobank made an app for you. And some of you have already asked, some of you have asked it. Can you explain to us, David Lammers, and explain what that app is, because we're going to do interaction, and my son is really very enthusiastic because he wants to win.
He's at position 1 right now.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job. As blockchain team here at the Rabobank, we wanted to add something unique to this event. So that's why I have the opportunity here to introduce you to the network token. It's a token we created especially for today, because you're here not only to learn about blockchain technology and all use cases we have, but also to network. And today you can network while you are using the blockchain technology. So we created a token, and each time you connect with somebody using our app, you both get 1 token. So if you're networking a lot, you get a lot of tokens, and you end up in our dashboard at the top 10. You can see it at our Rabobank stand in the main hall. Just how you can join the network token. Well, first make sure you get the flyer. We handed them out at the entrance. Install the Cypher app, add our token, and make sure you first go to the Rabobank stand or one of the students. They will hand out the first token to you. So only if you have the first token that you get from us, then you can start networking. That's very important. Afterwards, make sure you end up in the leaderboard, because we have a really nice prize. And there are also some opportunities to end up to earn 2 tokens each time you network. This is the dashboard we show at the Rabobank stand in the main hall. And we also have a visualization later on, so you can see the network and all the connections that are made using our network token. 3 situations where you can get double tokens when you network. So the first one is when you connect with a speaker, you both get 2 tokens. You can also connect with somebody who has less than 5 tokens, so just to give you a head start. If you're just new, you just joined the network token, well, you earn faster. But it's also somebody, if you meet somebody that doesn't have the network app, you can introduce them, and you both get 2 tokens. So you also earn 2 tokens when you let somebody join who hasn't used the network token yet. And the last option, we have a happy hour. 3:30, happy hour. Each of you get 2 tokens when you connect. And we have a really awesome prize. You can also see it at the Rabobank stand. We have a very cool drone, 4K camera, really nice. So please join the network token and step into it.
Okay, thank you very much. And it is a test. Yeah, give him a big hand. He worked very hard. You have to be on the right network. You have to basically not select Ethereum and start selling, giving that out, because that's, of course, expensive for the bank. And so read the instructions and then come to people from the team. Okay, good. So after a speaker is done, not all of them, but for example, when Dave Birch is done, it's really I cannot give him enough time because he could easily fill 2 hours. If he goes there, you can follow him. 20 of them can follow him. They put on a headset, and they basically can have a conversation. So instead of one speaker, one person talking to the speaker, you can have 20 people talking to the speaker, and they can all ask questions. So you can ask questions, and then Dave gives answers, and everybody can listen to it. So we call it decentralized presentation, because you can just, while you listen, you can just get coffee and walk somewhere. You don't have to be with this, and you can really clearly hear him. I use it as the blockchain at the conference in Barcelona, and I did tours, and that's an experiment. We're going to see how that works and if people like it. Last year, we were here, and the Bitcoin was 2,700, and now it's about 7,600. It went up to 19,000, and then basically I did a conference on January, and it was 11,000. So it's about 3 times more than last year, and the total market capitalization is about 4 times. It went from 100 billion to about 350. So 3.5 times it went up. So it's a slow growth year for crypto. And what happened is that all the governments, I mean, that 20,000 point, everybody got involved. Everybody started to make rules and regulations and warn everybody. And and it immediately became, you know, top of mind attention. So that's really interesting. Still, people have problems with keys. You know, to remember, I mean, about 60% of the people who have coins wants the bank to maintain the keys. They asked that. We did a test with the Dutch population, about 350,000 people, and about 70% says, we want the banks to take care of our keys, and then we don't have things like that you have 500 million and it gets lost. Still, everybody is interested what to invest in and understanding. You are a small minority who really wants to understand what you can do with it, but I want to salute you for that. The Tweede Kamer was indeed on a mission a couple of times. They are thinking about forbidding everything, especially more riskful products, and then everybody has their own reason why they're enthusiastic or not. It's really this I thought was really the funny one. But also the SP said the Bitcoin is a fantastic tool, Socialistic Party, but it is hijacked by the capitalists. So like everybody has their own idea about it. And if you see. Last year we talked for the first time on the stage on ICO. Richard was there and we talked about ICOs. And everybody goes, what the hell is an ICO? You know, really nobody had any idea. And now, you know, it basically, this is when it got started. And directly after our here, so it's now going to March, June, April. And then in June, it suddenly started to explode. I mean, suddenly it became clear that you could print your own token, and bang, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of billions of euros came out. And if you now see last year, 3.8 billion was basically taken up by small companies, by small medium companies. And this year so far, it is about 9 billion. So it's we're only halfway done, and it's 9 billion. And it's now way more than all the venture capitalists put in countries. We're going to have a fantastic talk how 90% will completely fail, how 15 or 20% will be completely a scam, and how 60% is delusional. But the 10%, there's now a whole bunch of companies who are now having 20, 30, 50, 100 million to play with and to make products. And it's really accelerating the growth. And I'm out of time, my God. Okay, the whole blockchain ecosystem is developing. The tools are getting better. It's used in a lot of places. And we're just in the hype cycle. We're in the hype cycle. The crypto is now a little bit over, but the blockchain is there. And I just want to say the next big thing we're going to talk about. This is now crypto. If you now look at, if you now look here at crypto, it's 3 little blocks. Biggest companies are 10 times bigger than the whole crypto industry. The richest people are much bigger. The Californian GDP. If you now look what currency is, or what gold is, it's 20, 30, 40 times bigger than the crypto world. If you then look stock markets, it becomes huge. Then if you look at the money supply, or if you look at the real estate, and then if you look at the global real estate, it's 270 trillion. And if you then look at derivatives, there's so much value in the world, and we haven't even started with that. So that's really interesting. I want to tell you the Squiffer app. Make sure that you look at the Squiffer app, not only to vote, but there's also the program is in there. The program is in there. And you can basically see what we're doing in all the different blocks. You can go to the different speakers. They will tell you about it. And we have we were talking about regulation. We have the Dutch Central Bank here. We talk about healthcare. Gardner saying what the IT companies are going to be thinking about it. Mark van der Gijs said the Bitcoin will be an all-time high when we had our conference. We're going to ask him why that is not the case. We're talking about Richard Kastelein, who said about the ICOs, how his life was. And Bruno is going to tell how most of the ICOs are scam and how there's pump and dump in that world. So we're going to also make sure that we look at the positive sides and the negative sides. I told you about the technical track, fantastic speakers. Bruno is going to talk about the top 10 different blockchains which are there. Connie has a fantastic bunch of speakers. We're going to talk really about what happened in business, real cases which are being produced. And we have the government track where it's lots of speakers from the World Bank, Indian, all over the place. And Marloes is going to talk about the Dutch thing. And the energy track, we also have 7 or 8 speakers. We have a huge amount of speakers who are going to talk about that. So, and then the people are at the ICO track. Everybody is going to get a bunch of Ethereums and can basically at the end of the pitch decide who gets their money, and the winner will get the prize from Constantine and be the best, be named for a short period of time the best ICO of the Netherlands. And we're going to end a fantastic blockchain for good show. And then we have the Indian government, which I want to introduce you. We have about identity. We have somebody from the World Bank who talks about big projects they do. We have Vinay Gupta with an end show, and we have Waqar, my dear friend from Pakistan, who has 1 million followers, and he's a TV star, but he takes people from Syria and he teaches them about blockchain, gives them mining equipment so they can take care of themselves. So that's the end session, and Vinay Gupta is going to give a fantastic presentation how the world will look in 10 years. He's going to come with a big idea. So that's basically what we're going to do. We have not enough time. I basically am over time already. I'm sorry, Paul. But we're going to start with the first speaker, who last year was impossible to get off stage. But everybody loved him. Nobody cared that he was going over time. Just me, because I have to keep track of time. And that is Dave Birch. Dave Birch. And I challenged him. I say, come on, Dave, you're the first speaker. Tell us where it's going. He talks about identity. He talks about the future of money. He wrote a book, Beyond Blockchain, Beyond Bitcoin. And I asked him, what is the next big thing? Give Dave Birch a big hand, because after this immediately needs to go to Geneva to do the next presentation. He stayed for us, and I'm really grateful. Dave, the floor is yours.